Now here's a problem with the outside of this house, and the reason we got it for a good price. And let me tell you guys, when I first walked in this house, I didn't know where to go.
Wanted to start the video right here where we were on day one of this project. Really the biggest question for us in this kitchen was, do we keep the same general layout on the way to the next project? And I just wanted to film a quick little video about what you guys are about to see. Now, I have over 4 hours on my floor plan software just going into the weeds trying to capture this floor plan. This is a 3,600 square foot Charles Rutenberg 1988 single story pool home on a lake in a gated community in Lutz, Florida. It's got 4 bedrooms plus office, 4 bathrooms, and a 3-car side garage. Now, a lot of the home has been altered by the prior owner to accommodate her disability. There's ramps everywhere, there's grab handles, there's 2 bedrooms that were combined into 1, and a number of other things. And the prior owners didn't change any of that. They did put a lot of money into the pool area, a new AC. They spent a ton of money on the home, but in areas that, aside from the pool, they might not exactly help the home sell. And so it's our job to kind of come in there and just open this thing up. It's very closed off. There's angles and crazy hallways everywhere, and definitely something that provides us with an opportunity to improve upon. And that's our job. Our job is to take all the things about the home and all the things that are causing it not to sell and make them better and sell for the top ARV. Now, in this particular case, this home sat on the market for a long time, and I think it would have sat in perpetuity had we not come in, because it just was marketed so poorly. The photographs of this home did not even come close to capturing how amazing this home is in person and the feel of it. And I'm really happy I went and toured it, because I really wasn't planning on even stepping foot in this home. I was very hesitant to even offer on it, because it will represent the highest price point, our highest starting point, at $710,000 plus fees, which probably puts us around $730,000 once we're done with our lender costs and points and all that crap that makes them way wealthier than we'll ever be. But it has potential to go in the millions. So we're on the way there now, and I can't wait to show you guys what we have planned for this thing.
All right, guys, we're at the property. So let me show you how they did the outside. It's a sidecar garage. The stucco pattern is different than the outside. So this is the original stucco, and this is where they blocked it in. It was definitely converted at some point, and you can see, but for all intents and purposes, we want 3 garage doors here, 1 and a double door right there. Now here's a problem with the outside of this house, and the reason we got it for a good price. The curb appeal is trash. And I don't mean that because there's a dumpster sitting in front of it right now, but I mean that because it's got 100 oaks in the front. It's tearing up everything. They're tearing up the sidewalk, and it's tearing up this driveway here. And these are things that we hate spending money on, but you have to spend money on. And so this has an incredible driveway, this big old driveway. You probably get about 6-7 cars comfortably in here, and that's not counting inside the garage. And we're going to pay for all of this, and the reason for that is because we want to create curb appeal. So that money is well spent, and buyers will appreciate that, and they will certainly appreciate it more than what it currently has right now. And I'll kind of show you guys why. One of the big culprits why this driveway is cracking as bad as it is because of this oak tree right here. It's got to go. We can excavate this concrete, and we can attempt to mitigate some of the future damage by trimming the roots, but then we're compromising the structure of the tree. So there's a solution to all of this, and that is take the tree out. A lot of this sidewalk in front of the house is also crumbling. For instance, this doesn't belong to us. This piece right here, our property ends right in front of this. This is part of the easement, but we need to find a solution to this, okay? And I've put some calls in, and in all likelihood, we're gonna rip this out and re-pour this. This home is at the age where all of these oaks that they planted in the front of the property have matured, and now they're causing problems. Let's walk around to the front of the house. All right, guys, so we just probably got half of our steps in for our entire day right now just by walking from the side of the house all the way to the front. So that's one of the crazy things about this home is it's 3,600 square feet, single story. And I can tell you from experience in this part of town, once you get into the 2,500 square foot range or higher, you probably have a staircase somewhere in your house. There is no staircase in this house. It is a single story detached 3,600 square foot house, and it is like a little labyrinth in here. Okay, so it's such a big home. We want to make it show correctly. We want it to show big from the outside. And to do that, we've got a lot of landscaping ahead of us. We have to nail the curb appeal on this house. And if we do, we'll do very well. Can't leave it like this because like this is why I got it for cheap. Why don't we come inside? All right, guys, here it is, the reveal. Let me tell you guys, when I first walked in this house, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know if I should go to the left. I didn't know if I should go to the right. I didn't know if I should go straight and take a look at that fantastic pool and lake combo right there that you see. I really was kind of lost. Break the home up into two parts, okay? This is the left side as you're facing the pool and the lake, and then here's the right side. So why don't we start here on the right side? The primary bathroom, the primary bedroom, you have a full pool bath right here and a quasi office space. So why don't we take a look at this side of the home first, and then we'll go back to the left side and show you guys everything there. So right away, you have a full bedroom right here. And this bedroom has a door into the primary bathroom too. Okay. Right over here is a pool bath and a sauna. Okay. And my first time through this house, I was done and I was ready to leave. And I couldn't figure out why there's a giant room protruding into the primary suite. Found ourselves a sauna in this house. And I personally don't use saunas. I've used them before and I never liked them, but we have one. So let's take a look in this pool bath for a moment. So, anyways, the reason I couldn't find it is because it's a door hidden behind a door right there. And if I open that up, it's actually pretty nice. So, we're not going to do anything to this room. We're going to keep this room exactly how it is. But what we want to do is we want people to not have that problem. I want people when they walk in this home that they find this easy, right? So one of the ideas I had is that instead of making this an in-swing door right here, is that we could actually make it an outswing door. We might put a label on it that says sauna, we might not. But we're going to do everything we can so people know it's here. This is a big bathroom. It's not wide, but it's long. This is a built-in little sitting area, and these are heat lamps up here. And beyond that, you can actually see right here that the ceiling is a foot lower, 7 foot. So I'm 6 foot tall. The ceiling's 7 foot tall, and there's like a soffit that they almost like built down into the ceiling. We have no idea why, but it probably just holds all this electrical. So we can actually pop all this up, make it an 8 foot ceiling. That's going to add a little vertical height and give us a bigger feeling bathroom. So as we come back here, we're going to keep this glass and we're going to redo this shower, and we're going to redo it dimensionally exactly the same right here as is, and we're going to put this glass back. And I can tell you guys right now, even your cheapest glass guy, this is $1,000, 800 to 1,000. Okay, so this is a big savings. We got to be careful when we uninstall this, and we got to set this aside. But one of the cool things about a house this big is we have a 3-car garage. So we have all the space we need to kind of take out the good things in this home, set them aside in a spot where they're not going to get damaged. That's a luxury that we have in a home like this. So, anyways, keep the glass, redo the shower, everything new, and raise these ceilings if we can. And I think when we do that with the outswing door, we'll create a bathroom here that's pretty awesome. I don't want to go outside to the pool yet, so let's head back to the primary suite, and we'll wrap up this tour on this right side of the home. So we're walking in through these double doors, okay? And don't get me wrong, I like these. They're nice, but they're not the correct door type. We're going to put traditional 60-inch double doors. We got to replace all the doors in the home anyways. They're dated and they're nasty. They're hollow flat panel doors, louvered closet doors that nobody likes. We're going to replace all that. Let's do it right. Let's do these two. Let's go into the primary suite. So I measured this out, and I think it's 16 feet by 14, or it's just big enough that we have enough here that people can put their king size bed, their multiple nightstands, and maybe a TV on the wall, and they're not going to feel crowded. So now here's the other issue: closet space, storage space, and we have a problem with that in this house. So here is the primary closet. And this actually has a laundry hookup inside it. So if you walk in and you go to that back wall, there's a 220 or 240 volt outlet for a dryer. And you can actually make this a laundry because of that. And I think we will. I think we will. But that leaves us a problem. Now we're eating into someone because we could easily just make all this a big closet. Okay, we got to find space for another closet, right? So let's go. We're going to frame this in and create a little private water closet room, and it's got everything you need. It's got a light, it's got the exhaust fan, it's got a window. It's just missing a couple walls and a door. It's even got a little switch inside. So we're going to remove all these grab handles. Obviously, all this is going to get blown out. We're going to remove this wall completely. I hate to say it. Let me see if I can get a light. And I apologize if it's super dark in here, guys. But this glass, we can't use it. We just can't use it. So sadly, we got to get rid of that. Now, if we can find a spot for it, we will. But I hate to say it, it's just not going to work with our design. Okay, now this is a pretty easy primary bathroom to design. We're gonna do a double sink vanity right here. This is going to be our shower. When we and I know it's hard because you got to kind of use your imagination right now, but when we build this wall right here and we take this down, we're going to put a freestanding tub right here, and we're going to throw our plumbing inside this wall, and it'll go right into your tub. And then all of this is going to be your walk-in shower. It's just going to be a big old shower. Once again, 7-foot ceilings. If I can touch the ceiling without standing on my tippy toes, we have a problem, especially in $1 million house. So we got to raise these up too. Aside from that, we got to find space for our closet. We need a second primary closet. So the thinking right now, currently, is, well, look at this giant bedroom right here. When you're designing, or I'm designing a floor plan, or we're thinking about what do we do, we want to have our cake and eat it too. So this is a 3,600 square foot house. It has potential for 5 bedrooms, full bedrooms. Okay, window, closet, door, the whole 9 yards. And I think we can still do that and create another primary closet. So with that said, and again, hard to imagine, we're going to blow this closet out. Okay, wall it off right here on the other side of this window, straight down. We'll have a full 9 feet wide, and then we're going to have 14 feet this way. So this is actually, it's a big space. I'm going to put a little closet in this corner, and because we have a wall right here and a door already, we're going to have a whole other walk-in closet for your primary on this side. And if my floor plan software is accurate, we'll have over 30 square feet of closet space, in addition to the 35 square feet we already have on that side. So that's the right side of the house. We're just getting started. Let's go to the left side of the home. Now, before we do that, let's look at this wall right here, because this wall is so important. When you walk into a home and you have that, and again, guys, it's super dark in here, so I apologize for that. But that stereotypical knock the wall down, open the kitchen situation, well, this home has it. And that's one of the reasons I bought this house, is because of the potential to alter the floor plan into something open and incredible. This house is very blocked off and it's very closed off. So what we're gonna do, the kitchen's right behind this wall, okay? And we're gonna cut this wall in half. We're gonna reveal the ceiling up top, and we're gonna take it around to here, and we are gonna open this entire kitchen up and reveal a sight line. You walk in from the front door, which is just right here, and you're looking like back into the house. I want you to be able to see the kitchen, through the kitchen, into the living room, and to the whole back of the house. So let's kind of go through that, and let's see what that entails. So here's the kitchen. Obviously, this wall right here, I don't think this wall's coming down, because if this wall comes down, I think part of the rest of the home's coming down. And obviously, this is a beam up here. We've opened it on this side. So sadly, we cannot remove this. We can't remove this. We can't remove that little part. And we can't remove this. And that's okay. We got to keep it. But we can remove everything else. And we are. And so let's come in here to the other end of our sight line. Okay, you have these beautiful windows that overlook this lake. It's such a great view of this lake. You got the pool here. Now, where I'm standing right now, I want to be able to wave and say hi to where I was standing in the beginning as I walked in the front door. And I want to be able to like see myself from there. And we have a plan for that. You guys can follow me here. Again, I know this is tough to imagine, but one thing that I've had good luck doing is getting rid of hallway. And that's what we have right here. We have a hallway. And the only thing this hallway is doing for us, the only thing, is that it allows access into this bedroom right here. So if we can find another door or a place to put the door for this bedroom, we can get rid of this entire hallway. By doing that, we can push the kitchen back up against this wall, and our sight line back to the front of the house just became real good. If you come through this hallway with me, there's the bedroom. Go inside for a moment, and it's a standard bedroom right here. And we don't want to move this bedroom at all. We like this bedroom. It Jack and Jill's into this bathroom, and it's a good size. We like everything about this bedroom. We just need another way in. So our thinking here is that we're going to change this. It's not going to be a Jack and Jill bathroom anymore, which is fine. And we're going to put the door right here. And to do that, if you follow me into this bathroom, we got to move this vanity to right about here where this door jamb is, and back like this, and just reconfigure. I mean, it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but what it allows us to do is it allows us to open that kitchen up completely. So sadly, we got to do it. So let's walk through here. And essentially, we're going to create like a little hallway right here, and there'll be a door that leads into your bedroom. So this is going to be the back wall of your kitchen right here. And then what we got to do is we got to square the kitchen off. So if you guys remember, we'll go back in the kitchen, that island. Okay, that island was so weird, right? Because, and I'll show you this in a moment, it has walls going all different directions. We want to square all this off. Okay, it's hurting my brain when I walk in the kitchen. We're going to square this wall off right here at 90 degrees. We'll take it out about 9 feet to right about here, and where my foot is. And then this is going to be the inside of your kitchen. And if you come around this way, I know we're going in circles a little bit here, but we're back in the kitchen. And one of the things I mean by this hurting my brain is this island is square with this wall and it's square with this wall, but it's not square with that wall, and it's not square with that wall. And I don't know how this is translating in the video, but we want to get rid of that. None of this is appealing. We want a squared off kitchen, squared off home, by the way. That kind of brings us to the last few quirks of this home inside. So we're on the whole opposite end of the house. And as I walked in this room for the first time, I noticed it had two ceiling fans right here. So it looked like it was originally two bedrooms at one point. So I broke out my measuring tape and I just measured from this wall all the way to this wall and to the front of that closet, I should say, all the way to this wall. I got 22 feet. All right. So 22 feet divided by 2 is 11. 11 feet is plenty of space to have a normal sized bedroom. We're not talking a huge bedroom here, but it's a normal bedroom. We're going to break these two rooms up into their own bedrooms. We're going to do it in the best way possible, where they're as big as they possibly can be. So, one of the reasons is this here. This is our current laundry space. Okay, this is the main laundry right now. I'm going to move the laundry into the garage. We're going to make a huge laundry space. This will be your closet for this room. And that way, when we divide these rooms, I don't have to frame in a closet here and take away more space from the inside of this room because it's already small. I get it, 11 feet by 10. That's not a very big room. So we're going to reconfigure this current laundry into the closet for this room. And if you flip around here, there's a whole bathroom inside this bedroom. I'm not seeing the reasoning to have a full bathroom, not even a half bath. You got a shower and fancy inside a random bedroom. Okay, can you imagine having a family of three boys and you got to determine which one of your three kids, or maybe it's two girls and a boy or whoever, and you got to say, hey, all right, you get this room with your own bathroom. I don't want that situation, okay, to play out because that's how it would go. So we're gonna flip this all around. We're gonna throw the vanity on this side, throw the toilet on that side, and we're gonna create a door from the hallway. And this is just gonna be a bath accessible to anyone. So that will give us two full bathrooms for three bedrooms on this side of the home. Here's your laundry, okay? And if we're listing at $1 million, does this look like $1 million laundry space to you guys? No, it doesn't. We got to build something cool here, right? So, like I said, this is going to be the closet for this bedroom. We're actually going to create a wall right here. And we're going to put a door that opens right here, just like this. And we're going to take this wall down. This door is going to go just like this. And you're going to walk right in to your laundry room, not closet, but laundry room. So by doing that, we're now inside the third garage bay. And this is where we started the video. And you could see that stucco pattern and where they framed this in or blocked this in. But we can't go too far because we need to preserve as much garage space as we can. And trust me, I would love to just make all of this heated square footage, but at that point, now we're only offering a two-car garage to our buyers in $1 million home. I'm not sleeping well at night with that. Okay. So, what I want to do is wall this off right here. It's perfect, right at the end of this wall, straight across. And we have a full 6 feet this way, and we have 14 feet this way, including the space we're going to go into the home a little bit. So, with that said, this is a beautiful room for a lot of potential. So we're almost to the point here where we're ready to wrap up this tour. We still got to show you the outside. Why don't we start that by going out this door right here? So I know I'm standing in the way of this gorgeous lake view, and I know that that's probably a little counterintuitive right now, but this is going to help us. Every little feature on this home is going to inch us closer to that $1 million price point. And this is a big one. This lot backing into this lake adds a ton of value to this property. So let's walk around this side. Okay. All right, guys, we're wrapping up this thing here because I'm starting to get a little tired walking around this place. But uh, here's why the negotiations were so hard on this house. And I like to talk about all the nitty-gritty contract stuff at the end after we've sold the place, and I can give you guys like a whole 2020 perspective look back on the project. But currently the buyers, or excuse me, the sellers, they put a ton of money into this pool area. And they pavered all of this, they resurfaced the pool, all new equipment. They only owned the home 2 years. They probably spent 50 grand back here. And they sold the house to me for 40 grand less than they paid. So that's 90 grand plus fees they lost on this home, plus whatever else they put into it. They put a whole new AC in this place. That's a tough pill to swallow. And then I come around and offer something low. I get it. But with that said, you're probably asking, all right, well, what do you do? When everything's done for you, what do you do? Well, the answer is nothing. If it's already done and it looks great, you don't do anything, okay? You clean it and you maintain it, but there isn't much we need to do back here except this kitchen, this outdoor kitchen. We're going to redo all this. So in theme with what we're doing on the inside, this will look very dated back here, and it won't line up with what's inside. So we're going to rip all this out and we're going to redo it. I'd like to redo it in a different shape, but they pavered around it exactly in the shape that it is. So from here, it's just a matter of starting. So we're going to start demo tomorrow. We're going to start ripping into this place, and we're going to see how all of our ideas and plans actually can take shape.
So it's been about 7 or 8 weeks since we started this thing. In my opinion, we're about 2 weeks behind schedule, and we're about to be more behind schedule. And the reason for that is we have a major problem. All 3,600 square feet of our LVP was installed incorrectly. We subbed out the install on the LVP in this house, and the guys who did the job did a great job, but sadly they started on the wrong wall and then ran it diagonal throughout the entire house as a consequence. And so we went back and forth on this about, can we keep it, can we not keep it, what do we do, should we stage the home and hide it, should we keep it in some areas and not others? And the answer is we just gotta rip it all out and redo it. Now, I've been out of town for a couple days, and this is my first time coming back to actually see this in person.
I'm across the street because this home is so big. I wanted to get as far away from it as I could to just show you guys a little of what we've done. Now, we've done some hardy plank siding here and in a few other spots. And one thing I wanted to show you guys also is the fact that this big tree is gone now. And that's been a long time coming, but it is gone. And so are a couple other trees as well. And we also trimmed up a lot of trees. The place is an absolute dump right now. Cleanliness and neatness are not the priority. But I want you guys to see this house in its condition currently. We're gonna come in the front door. So now I wanna show you the progress. So we have a problem with the floors, but we've also had a lot of successes in here, and a lot of our design has been able to come to fruition. Now, one of the biggest issues that we had was when we went to open this kitchen right here, we had this coming to a point right here. And that created a bit of an issue because it just looked out of place. It looked like there used to be something else here, and that's not how we want to design a home. We don't want to take a wall down or open a wall and then leave another part of the home a certain way where it looks like we took a wall down or moved a wall. We want the home to have continuity. And so what we had to do was we had to come up with a solution where we can't eliminate this bulkhead or this soffit area up here, but we integrated a little bit of like a design into it, where instead of coming to a point, it tapers off right here until it hits the wall. So now we're inside the kitchen, And it used to stop right about here, and we had a hallway right here. So this is the hallway that I'm standing in right here. And the back wall of the kitchen would have been right here. So what we ended up doing is we got rid of that hallway and we made the kitchen, honestly, in my opinion, the kitchen's about twice as big. Now, how did we get rid of the hallway? We did that by creating another hallway. We created another hallway right here. Now, this is behind the old hallway, but we were able to find space in this bathroom where we were able to open this up and create another area where people can walk in, and you can gain access to this bedroom now from back here, along with the other bedrooms. Now, one of the big issues in this house was that it had this giant room. And this giant room back here was 22 by 12. And so we knew from pretty early on that this giant room used to be 2 bedrooms. And so we just put it back to how it was. They're not the world's biggest bedrooms, but they are a full 11 by 12 or 12 by 12. This closet used to be our old laundry closet. And on the other side of this, we closed it in. So what we ended up doing is we ended up pushing the laundry into the garage. All we've done is take the laundry from here and put it here. But by doing that, we were able to create this giant room, and we were able to add a bunch of cool features in here. This little mini washing station. So we're really excited about this. All right, guys, so this is the left side of the home. I'm really just gonna take you guys around. Now, this is our old Jack and Jill bathroom. And the door into that Jack and Jill bathroom, believe it or not, was right about here. So what we ended up doing, we just ended up making it one big room, and we moved the door into it to the side. So it creates like a little hallway right here in this square. You can access the bathroom or you can access your bedroom. And that way, not everybody is jetting out into the hallway because there's already enough doors. We turn this bathroom around. We now have 2 doors because we have 2 bedrooms here. So we have 3 doors opening at any time right here on this side. So let's head back to the other side of the home. And one of the biggest things I want to talk about is this office space. Now, this office space is going to look a lot different from that first video. And it is a 5th bedroom. We do have a closet here. We only have 9 feet here. We're still figuring out how we're going to market this. And it's 14 feet this way. So we do have one of the dimensions in the room is quite significant. So we're still going back and forth on how to market this. However, we're very happy with how this turned out, and I'll show you why here in a moment. Before we get into the primary bath and primary bedroom, let's head into this pool bath with this sauna. Now this door, and these are the things that you're gonna see sometimes, this door is not installed correctly. Our goal in this instance is that we want this door swinging out. We don't want buyers walking in, because again, if you walk in right now, you can't see the sauna door. So it'd be very easy to just peek your head in here as a buyer. Okay, it's a pool bath, there's nothing to see, and then continue on to the primary. However, with that said, we did a lot of things in here. So I just want to talk a little bit about what we did. So if I flip the camera back on the sauna, you're probably noticing there's a closet missing, and there is. And the reason for that is because we noticed we had a window going out from the sauna right into where this closet used to be, right here. It's just a linen closet, something that we could easily replace by just putting another pantry cabinet or storage cabinet on this side. So that's what we decided to do. And then you come into the shower. And then you're out to the pool. So that is the pool bathroom. So let's go into the primary. You can see these floors just running diagonal like this. But let's go into the primary bath. So this should look a lot different to you guys. We framed in a water closet here. We added space for a tub, which it did not have. We put a traditional size window in, and we opened everything up. So everything in this room is coming along really, really nice. We did run into a small issue, and I'm sure you guys are noticing as we go in these rooms that we now have 8-foot ceilings in the pool bath and certainly in here. And one of the issues we ran into, and it's kind of hard to see, is that the tile has about an inch gap here, but then as it gets here, it has no gap. So what we have to do is put a quarter round or some kind of trim to finish this out. Now, I'm not a fan of doing that, so that's why we haven't done it yet. I'm still figuring out what we can do to fix that issue. Now, I had an issue in a past house where we didn't build this ledge wide enough so it came close enough to the tub. We've learned from that mistake in the past, and we have everything ready dimensionally where it works out fine. And then finally, one of the biggest changes in this room is actually right here. So this back wall used to go the entire way until you hit right about here. What we did was we actually framed this in and then closed it in on the other side to create space for a secondary walk-in closet. So by doing that, we now have 2 walk-in closets, and I thought it was gonna create, it was gonna block your view as you walked in, but it actually looks fine. It looks really good in here, because one thing we didn't want to do was take a wall out here, take a wall out here, but then add a wall here and add a wall back here and end up at the same place that we were in terms of openness. So this is our other primary closet. And what we ended up doing is we actually ended up moving this door that used to be here. We moved it right here so you could be in front of your laundry. Now, this door right here is not for here. These aren't big problems. These are easy problems. These are the problems we wish we had instead of the floors, which again, you can see just kind of goes off in the distance right there. Now it's actually square against this wall right here. And then this is the back of the home. So this is the wall that it should be square with. And that would solve all of our problems everywhere else. Because as you can see, if it was running this way, it would be straight against here too. We have rooms, this is a good example, where we have rooms that have 2 walls that, as you can see, they don't run parallel to each other. So you are gonna see a little bit of variation in the direction of the floor because of that. However, it needed to be square with this wall, and the installers started on the wrong wall. They started on a wall running off in the wrong direction like this. So that was the genesis of that problem. So we have our work cut out for us. You guys can see that we're 7 weeks into this project, and it looks like this. And that's a lot of time. That's a lot of money that we've put in, a lot of effort. And it still looks like almost just been demoed. It's farther along than you guys think. And that's my point behind saying that, is that we actually, had these floors been put in correctly, we actually would be in the process of starting to wrap this up. A lot of work is going to take place in the next couple weeks, and we're going to hit a turning point pretty quickly. Now, we have so much to go over. There's so many things that I haven't touched on. I'm just going to walk into this final room here in the house. And there's so many things. It's a foggy Florida morning here in November. There are so many things we have to do still. One last thing I want to show you guys is this sight line. So this is actually the most exciting part about where we're at currently, is that I'm standing in the very back of the house, just like I did on day one, and I can see the front door from here. So we're really excited because you have a plan for a house, you don't exactly know how it's going to go.
I'm standing outside in probably 30-degree weather right now, so we're going to make this quick. But I wanted to start the video right here where we were on day one of this project and talk about all the things that transpired in that time, because this is where a majority of the work that we did outside this house took place. So what I'm standing on right now is all new concrete. Unfortunately, because of the flooring issue inside, we ran right through our budget to do a paver driveway. But we still had to figure out how to fix this driveway economically for us, because we took out that big tree over here. I want you guys to see this part of the driveway, because this whole middle portion is all new, all the way up to about here. And what we did is we basically re-poured the entire middle part of this driveway because it was crumbling really bad. And then on this side, we did all new sod where that old tree used to be, just to tie it back in and make it look nice. Unfortunately, we ran out of funds to do anything more than that. The big change on this side of the house is the third garage bay. Now, if you guys look really close at both of these doors, you'll see they do not match. The decorative windows on top match, but unfortunately the style of square embossed forms that they have do not match each other. And we had to make a decision because they do not make this style anymore. And we had to make a decision. We decided to go with it. We knew we were painting it a dark color, so here it is. So guys, there's not much else to talk about on this side of the house. And frankly, it's very cold. So we're going to go inside the house because that's where all the fun took place. One last thing to show you before we walk inside are these front doors. Now, one issue we had with these front doors is we did replace what was here. However, it's not that they're off center, but the way that this opening or this entryway is shaped is that there's a little more space on one side than the other. So what we decided to do was kind of hide it in a way. And we did these mini Italian cypress. We threw them in front of here. I threw some lights. These are solar powered lights, and really all we were trying to do, guys, was just add a little bit of staging, a little bit of functionality out here, just so you're not paying attention to the fact that this door, again, it's not off center, it's just because there's just more space on this side. Guys, we're in. This is it. We are freaking done. And this house has been, I say this all the time, a labor of love, but this one took a little bit extra love because it is just so big. We have no plans to ever do a house this big again. I'm not saying we won't, but this thing just, it took way longer and it took way more money than we were initially expecting to spend, just because of how big it is. It's 3,600 square feet. And it pushed us to our absolute limits in terms of time and in terms of money. I know you guys have already seen the general layout and you've seen all the walls we've taken down, but let's just head right into the kitchen, because these sight lines to me is what sold the house. And in this kitchen, we opened it up, we pushed it back, we got rid of the hallway.
You know, there was a hallway, literally, there was a wall right here, and the back wall of the kitchen literally was right here. And this was just a hallway that lets you get from the living into the main hallway of the house. And we got rid of that. We pushed that back and opened this kitchen up. And by doing that, we allowed for so much extra light to come into the kitchen from here and those sight lines to improve greatly. And aside from that, really the biggest question for us in this kitchen was, do we keep the same general layout? Because they had this peninsula kind of coming out here initially, and we did. So what we wanted to do was just create the biggest, most open kitchen we could. And that's how we settled on this layout right here. And I'm actually glad we did, because it just flows so much nicer. And it ties this structural wall into the house almost to where you don't even know it's there. So we benefited greatly from just keeping the same general style of kitchen. Aside from that, what we wanted to do was utilize as much wall space as we could. And there's no real good place to put a pantry cabinet on this side of the kitchen. So we decided to throw it all back here and do kind of a pantry style mini bar area setup that can kind of function as its own like separate space for storage. And I really, really like how this turned out, because it kind of does tie everything in together. Now, one complaint we actually got on this house, and it's something that we're going to pay a lot of attention to going forward, was people were asking where our microwave is. And we have a hood vent over our cooktop, and we actually have a double oven next to our fridge. So technically, we have no microwave in the kitchen, but what we ended up doing was putting one in here. And we have power back here. It wasn't quite intentional. We had power on this wall, and we decided to just keep it in this pantry for a future kitchen appliance, and that kind of solved most buyers' complaints. If I could do this again, because just of the price point that this house is at, I would have put a microwave in one of these base cabinets. I would have done a microwave base cabinet and put a built-in microwave there, or maybe in the future done a microwave oven combo. We're in the main living room space of the house. This is where I would be every night watching a movie or gathering with family. It would be right here. And we didn't actually have to do much at all to this space. The footprint is identical. We kept the beams. The only thing we tried to do was just add a little bit of functionality to this space. So we did these built-ins on each side of the fireplace area. We put our stone on top. And I've been loving these wall sconces that we do. I just think they add a lot of character to the space without being intrusive, and they allow a little more light to come into the space, or the option to have some lights on versus off to create the mood that you guys want. So now, guys, I want to take you to the laundry bedroom side of the home, which is over here on the left side of the house. I want to show you guys how all that turned out. So this layout was extremely complex. I have way more hours than I care to admit in my floor plan app. But one thing we knew from the beginning was that this full bathroom, which was already here, we knew that we had to flip this around. And the reason for that is because it's in a random bedroom. And there's no reason to have a full bathroom in a random bedroom. It's okay if it's a second primary, or it's a large bedroom that could possibly be used as maybe a guest situation. This house, it fit neither of those. We've already kind of talked about the layout situation. The old hallway was right here, guys. So it was really about 4 feet wide, and this wall right here was how you would walk through to the other side. And so what we had to do again was relocate a bedroom door, and this is how it turned out. This is the final product. And functionally, it works as good or better than before. So in my personal opinion, we were able to relocate that bedroom door, and I don't personally feel we sacrificed anything So that, in my opinion, that's a design home run. The other big thing to show you on this side of the house is our laundry. Now, we've been in these bedrooms. They're all almost identical in size and design. So there's no need to run all the way through these two bedrooms again. This area took a lot of planning because we did end up going into the garage. And what our goal is every time when we're doing a laundry is we want there to be one of everything. And unfortunately, in this case, we missed something. I don't know if it's big, it's small, or it's medium, but one complaint we got was nowhere to hang wet laundry that you don't want to put in a dryer. So, and it's maybe true. So what we ended up doing is we ended up getting one of these extendable wall units and throwing it up here. That was a complaint we got after we hit the market, unfortunately. But it is something to keep in mind in the future. The other thing that you guys I know are noticing is this utility shower or this dog shower. This is my first time doing one of these. And I personally feel we accomplished what we set out to do on this. I don't know how practical it'll be, so I'm not sure how useful this will be in that circumstance, but I can definitely see this being used for other purposes, and I think that it adds a little bit of value and character to the house. Now, if we could do this all over again, we put a little pot filler dog bowl station under here. I probably wouldn't have done that. I would have brought this to the ground and made it a little more useful that way. I think in this case, we get so excited sometimes when we're doing something new that we over design it. We spend too much time looking at photos online and ideas, and we want to do one of everything. And unfortunately, we got bit by the over design bug. So our feedback was good, but I think in the future, we might just make things a little bit simpler on ourselves. So otherwise, we have a pretty standard laundry here. But one thing I want to show you guys is how far into the garage did we go? All right, so we're on the other side of the laundry right here. Now, none of this was here. There was maybe a point in time when we had all the framing done and all the plumbing done when I was having a little bit of second thoughts in terms of how far into the garage we came with this. I think if I could do it all over again, I would have actually gone 1 foot farther back. And the reason for that is because we actually only have 15 feet from the front of this wall to our garage bay door. And it's enough to park a little golf cart in here. It's maybe enough to maybe set up a small workbench station somewhere in here, but you're not going to be able to park a full-size car in here. Most full-size cars are 16 feet or 15 and a half, and I just think had we had 1 extra foot farther back on this wall, we probably would have been in a better position, but we wanted that utility shower, and it was a must-have for us. But in the future, I would just have been a little more careful with how far into the garage you go, and I would always leave 16 feet at a minimum if you're going to go into your third bay. So guys, we're going to walk all the way to the other side of the house. This is a split floor plan house. I wanted to start on the left side because I wanted to show you kind of some of the mundane things, build up that culmination into the primary bedroom and bathroom. So behind me is the whole right side of the house. And I wanted to stop here because I wanted to talk a little bit about this wallpaper that we put in here. I'm a big fan of doing an accent wall in wallpaper. And we had a perfect opportunity to do one here. And the reason for that is because on bigger houses, especially houses with taller ceilings like this, it creates an opportunity for you guys to break up all the mundane, boring white walls in your house, and it adds a lot of character. Let's start with this pool bathroom. Now, when I took you guys through this place, when we were in the middle of construction, we had this door going inside the room. And from day one, our goal was to have a door that opens outside the room. And the reason for that, obviously, is our sauna door. So finally, we ended up getting the door situation correct. And that allows for buyers to come in here and see this sauna right away. They know it's here as soon as they open the door. And the only thing we actually did in this room, guys, is we just took this tile, we ran it. There was actually no floors in this sauna beforehand. It was just concrete slab. So we just ran our tile right into this room. Other than that, we cleaned it up nice and called it a day. And so I just want you guys to see the final product in here.
Go back here. And then
one thing we talked about was we actually deleted a closet right here, our linen closet. And we did that for two reasons. Number one, it was obstructing your view out from the sauna. And number two, we have so much room on this side of the house that it was a no-brainer to just put one right here. And so it actually worked out perfect, because one of the issues we had in this room was we just have so much wall space, and I really didn't know how to use all this wall space, and that kind of solved that problem. It allowed us to bring the cabinets out a little farther. We knew we wanted to keep the bench, and I'm happy we did. This is actually the original bench, and what we did is we uninstalled it, we cut it down because it used to come out a lot farther, and we kept the heat lamp up here as well. And again, I'm happy we kept this setup. I just think it adds so much usefulness to this pool bathroom, and it makes the room feel so much bigger in here. So in my opinion, we executed on every part of our vision in this room, guys. So the pool bathroom, we're very happy with that. Let's briefly go in this 5th bedroom office. So during our last segment, we talked about adding a secondary closet, a secondary primary closet on the other side. That's why we brought this room down a little bit. We did end up marketing this house as a 5-bedroom. This actual space is over 100 square feet in here. And I felt like what you lose width-wise, you still have in terms of the length of the room. It can fit just about any bed you want in here. So I felt like it's still a pretty decent bedroom. But unfortunately, one of the complaints we did get in this house was the bedrooms were small. And this is an old Charles Rutenberg build. It's a 1988 home. And that year means a lot to me. That's the year I was born. I love when little things like that happen. You buy a house that was built the year you were born. It's just good vibes going into a project. And so, but unfortunately, the size of bedrooms back then was not on the forefront of how these homes were built. And so we ended up with some smaller bedrooms in this house, of which are really out of our control. In this room, especially, us making it smaller did not help that. We did end up marketing this as a full bedroom, but one trick that I can kind of tell you guys is, of course, if it's not an actual bedroom, you can't call it a bedroom. We have a closet, we have a window, and we have a door, and we're over 100 square feet. So we are a legal bedroom by every definition. But what I do sometimes in this case where I'm not sure should we call it a bedroom is I'll add it as a bedroom on the listing, but in the description, I'll call it a 4-bedroom plus office / 5th. And I think what you end up doing is you're honest in terms of the legal definition of the house, but when you're describing the house to buyers, especially like in that first line where you're writing your public remarks for all my realtors out there, I would only call it, when you're not sure, I'd call it a 4-bedroom house. And then this space is a flex space. And so we didn't get any complaints in terms of our marketing. We just got complaints in terms of the size of all the bedrooms. So let's go ahead and head right into the primary. So one thing that came up in the very beginning was those exterior doors or interior glass doors. And I knew from the beginning, I just wanted standard doors in here. At the end of the day, you want your privacy. So that was one big change from the very beginning. So this space, again, the primary bedroom, guys, it's just small in here, and there's just nothing that we could do about this. We have an exterior wall here, we have an exterior wall here, and then on the other side of this wall is our pool bath, which was already narrow to begin with, so we couldn't eat any space out of that. When you find yourself in that situation, you just have to run with it. You gotta, again, make everything else in the house as good as you can, design everything as good as you can, and just make up for it in other areas of the house to where it's not a deal breaker. That's really what you're going for. You're really just trying to minimize the negatives and increase the positives. So I am really happy with how this turned out. And one issue we actually ran into in this house is the mirrors. And I came here maybe a few weeks before we were done, and I walked around and I hated every single mirror that I had purchased. And they were already installed. And not only that, but we have a tile backsplash behind every single cabinet vanity. So they were actually installed in the tile as well. And so you all can imagine my contractors were not very happy with me wanting to change mirrors because it wasn't as simple as just pulling it off a wall at that point. We had to actually swap tiles, but I can tell you guys without any doubt, that was one of the biggest, most important last minute changes we made. And it changed the look and feel of every single bathroom. The other issue we had was up here above the tile. And our initial fix to cover that 1 inch gap or 1 inch shortfall above the second tile here was to just put cord around. But I am really happy we decided not to do that and instead continue the tile up that last inch and then seal it off real nice. Aside from that, guys, threw a little bit of some staging in here, and it just flows so nice in here, guys. So I'm extremely proud for how this bathroom turned out, and I can tell you without any doubt that kitchen in this bathroom is why this house sold, beyond the shadow of a doubt. When buyers walk in this room and they see that kitchen and the sight lines that we created, these are the two spaces in this house that sold the house for us. And if you can nail your designs and your layouts in those parts of the homes, you are going to do very well when you go to sell. Just briefly, this is our other secondary primary closet. Now, there's a lot of second guessing that I've done. I'm happy with how everything turned out. And it's impossible to say how things could have been different. But unfortunately, we just were at a space crunch in this house. We had small bedrooms and we did not have a lot of primary closet storage. So when we had the opportunity to add on and create another closet in here, we did it, and I'm very happy. Again, it looks like it was always here, but there was maybe 2 or 3 other ways we could have done this. And so we'll never know. We had to make a decision and we had to go with it. Let's take a little short walk outside because there is some stuff to talk about outside in the 30-degree weather we're about to walk into, but we have to do it. So I know we talked in the beginning, what do you do in a space like this where it's pretty much already done? And I know we said the answer is nothing, but we did do a few things. We did new fans, we did new lights, and we rebuilt this kitchen. And this space out here, these are very time-consuming projects. And so one piece of advice I could give you guys when you're thinking about doing an outdoor kitchen, because construction wise, it's no different than remodeling a bathroom in terms of the difficulty and what's required, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and it can eat into your resources significantly. So, yes, it's going to add a lot of value, but you have to ask yourself a few questions before you go ahead and pull the trigger on doing one of these, because they're not cheap. With all that said, we had to do it. We didn't really have a choice. And so I'm very happy with how it turned out. Buyers loved it. In the end, this house took 13 weeks. It's the biggest house that I've ever done. It's the longest amount of time that we've ever renovated, and it's the most money that we've ever spent to renovate. Currently, we are under contract. We got a very generous cash offer, very close to our list price. And if this house closes in a couple weeks, we would have set a whole new standard for this neighborhood in terms of price per square foot on a non-skiable lake house. And so we are extremely excited that we were able to come into a neighborhood like this, take an outdated 88 Charles Rutenberg home, open it up, create something incredible, and then sell it for a value that enhances all of the values of the property around it. So stay tuned for the end for all of the numbers and all of the final details once we get this thing sold. I'm here in this primary closet one more time, and I just wanted to show you guys the floors in here, because before they were square with this wall and they were running like this. And this wall is not square with the house. This is the exterior wall of the house that is square with everything else. And in these older Charles Rutenberg builds, there's a lot of walls that are running at different angles. That's a common theme that he liked to use in those older builds. And so obviously it got a little bit confusing for our flooring guys, and they picked the wrong wall to start their pattern off of. So for us, there's nothing wrong with having floors that are angled through your house. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, why go through all the time and effort to change that? And I'll take you guys even back here into the primary bedroom. So again, you guys can see, because this is kind of the side of the house that I used as the example for how they were done incorrectly. And if I turn the camera around, you guys can see how the floors run square from this wall and this wall. And what it does is, now because we're square with the actual exterior walls of the house, it allows these angles that they incorporated into these builds to actually show through. And so we're not trying to say that you don't want floors at a diagonal through your home. There's nothing at all wrong with that. The problem is when you already have a diagonal in your house and you're running diagonal, it just looks wrong. And so for us, making the floors square, it allows you to see the architecture of the home a lot better. And this area is a perfect example. So I cannot believe this house is done. It was just a pipe dream at one point. I remember sitting in this very office, making the phone call, negotiating the contract price, and acquiring the property all the way back in September of 2025. And here we are in February of 2026, and we have renovated it, marketed it, and sold it. And I'm sitting here and I don't own the property anymore. So let's talk about the numbers. Because this house, when we acquired it, we got it for $710,000, and that's our starting point. It can never get better than that. And we tried our hardest to get that price down as far as we could. Unfortunately, the sellers would have walked. And so we had to decide, was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. So for everything you saw in there, guys, we ended up spending $180,000 of our own money. Now let's talk about closing costs. $80,000, guys, $80,000 in closing costs. Now, again, I just group everything in the beginning and everything at the end. That includes everything, guys. It includes lender points, it includes holding costs, it includes the fees to buy and sell the house and record the sale. It includes realtor fees. It includes everything we spend outside of the reno. It's the transaction cost. And so that ended up being about 20K on the purchase side and about 60 on the selling side, about half of that going to the buyer's agent, who honestly, guys, is sometimes the biggest winner in all of these. Our goal, we joke about this, is just to make more than the buyer's agent in profit. Now, this one, I'm happy to report we did. So that brought us to a break even of $970,000. If you guys are adding these numbers up, that is dangerously close to that $1 million price point that we targeted. So without further ado, what did we list it at? We listed it at 1.175 million. We knew from the very beginning we had the chance to sell around 1.1. We were targeting a million to maybe get bidding up over that, but we had seen some comps nearby selling at pretty high prices as we were renovating. We did our market research, and by the time January came around and it came time to photograph and list it, we felt pretty confident that at just under 1.2 million, there was no competition like what we had, and we would be the best option on the market for buyers in that price point. And we were right. Now, we were on the market a full week. We did an open house. We had some really expensive cars show up to that open house, and people generally liked the property. They did have some complaints. We got a lot of people that were hypercritical of the quality of the reno. They were talking about creases in the wallpaper. They were talking about paint that had maybe not been done perfectly around some of the baseboards. One person complained about the laundry not having a rack to hang your clothes. A couple people didn't understand the dog shower, and it goes on and on and on, and that's fine. And so we, of course, listened to all that feedback. We did everything we possibly could, and I always encourage you guys, be humble. When you get feedback on a property and they're talking about little things that you missed here or there, or some of the pavers were dirty, or some of the paint was missing on some of the cage around the pool and all that, just go fix it. That's kind of a cheat sheet for you as to what might be in the mind of other buyers, because if it's in the mind of one buyer, it's probably in the mind of other buyers. And so go back in when you don't have any showings, fix all that. And we did. We spent an entire day going item by item on some of the feedback we got. And finally, the second weekend on the market, probably about 10 or 11 days on the market, we got a cash offer at 1.135 million. They were absolutely blown away by the property. Our gamble paid off at listing a little higher than we thought, judging the market, believing in our product, and it worked. These are numbers that are still confusing to me to say, because this will represent the highest sale price of any flip that I've ever done. It set a new standard. We hope to beat that standard, but currently, as I sit here, it is the new standard for sale price on a project of ours. And I'm happy to say that, because now we have a little more confidence as a company going forward that we can deliver a product in this price point that is impressive to buyers, because the buyers in this price point are completely different than the buyers at a $500,000 house. And the criticism and critiques and expectations, they go way up. They ramp up almost exponentially. And you better be on your A game in terms of your reno and your features. You better be priced right, because just because people have a lot of money, it does not mean they're going to spend it on your product just because you priced it high. So you have to be able to deliver, and we did in this case. So now we go forward with a lot of information and a little more confidence at this price point. And so that brought us a profit of $165,000. Now, that will represent the highest profit that I have ever generated on a project. However, I had an equal investor on this property. Because we have so many other properties going simultaneously and so many opportunities come across your plate sometimes, it makes sense occasionally to bring on an investor. You can bring them on at any number that makes sense for you guys. It could just be a loan. In this case, I had somebody come on as an equal 50-50 partner on this just because I wanted to dip my toes in the water this time at this price point, gain that confidence, gain this experience, learn from that, and go forward now next time on my own and bank all the profit next time. But as you guys could guess, in this case, we split that profit. So the final number for me is 82,500, and I will take that all day because now the company is $82,500 stronger, and we can invest that money into future projects and keep growing the company. And that's what we want to do at this point. We want to keep growing the company, and we want to be able to do new and exciting things that maybe we couldn't without the bankroll to do it. And now we're a step closer to being able to do that. So please, guys, if you like this content, if you enjoyed the journey of this house and you want to see more, please like and subscribe to the channel. We don't make any money from this. We don't need to make any money from this, guys, but we would enjoy being able to spread what we do to more people, educate, entertain in some cases, get the word out there about what we do. So thank you guys for watching.
The meat and potatoes. So we're gonna paint all the bricks. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Don't turn the video off. Hi. That didn't do anything. Let's try to find a light in here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we got a little bit of light in here. Let me turn the light on. We're gonna wall it off here, and we're gonna, we're gonna close that door, and not so dramatically, but. And once again, it's like so dark in here. There's got to be a light somewhere. It's probably on the side. There we go. Okay. Well, maybe I got to pay the electric bill. But there's got to be a light we can turn on somewhere. Okay. Let's keep pressing switches. There we go.
Well, guys, time to wrap up. Good night. Bye.
All right, guys, so we did a kitchen out here, and it's right there, and we're done.
Get me out of here!
That's locked. That's locked.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'll just hold it.
Alright, I'm in the gimbal next time.
All right, let's go.
Okay, go.